Hey guys, it's me again, and today we're going to talk about the Kuva Bramma Nerf as well as Kuva Bramma alternatives. Now the burning question on everybody's mind is, how hard was the Kuva Bramma hit with the Nerf bat? And very hard. You can't just use this everywhere anymore, and you can't really spam it either. And the ideal range for the Kuva Bramma now is close range, which is very ironic considering the Kuva Bramma's history. You'll definitely notice all the changes, and I'll show you those changes in a bit here, but the changes that you'll probably notice the most is the ammo. So instead of having 15 in reserve, we have 5. Now that might not seem too bad, but they also changed the amount of ammo you actually pick up as well. So with ammo pickups, whether that be from ammo drops on the ground, right, say from an enemy, so I have an ammo drop over here, I'm going to burn up the magazine, right, so I have 2 arrows left. Ammo pickups, even with ammo mutation, will only give you 1 ammo. Protea's dispenser will also only give you 1 ammo. Other big change was the cluster bombs. The cluster bombs have been reduced from 7 to 3. Now this greatly improves the lag that the Bramma generated, so the Bramma no longer tanks your frame rate or the people's frame rate around you anymore. So that's good news, but it also means that that's a huge damage nerf considering that most of the Bramma's damage was from its clusters. And previously what we could do is just shoot at the heavy gunner's feet and hopefully all the clusters hit. But you see, all the clusters hit there. Didn't really do much except like 1 cluster. But you see, the clusters even spread out a little bit more now. And they do considerably less damage. So what do you do now to sort of try and maintain the original damage? And the way you try to do that is actually with headshots. So if you hit a headshot instead now, it will have a similar effect. Now that might seem fine and all, but remember the Bramma is an AoE weapon and it excels at ad clear. And it also has like one of the worst accuracies of any weapon in the game. So it's not exactly a smart idea to go with headshots for this thing, despite its optimal range being sort of close. So let's check out its AoE performance. So level 40 Elite Lancers, 20 of them. And you notice right away that some of them survive. So yep, this one survived. This one actually got barely scraped by it. But you'll notice that, like, without question, normally if they got hit with this, they would have died instantly, and no questions asked. But now there's a chance that they could survive, right? So against shields, I have Corrupted Crewmen here. We actually see quite a few of them survive despite being hit with the AoE. In fact, these guys are actually pretty close to the AoE because I actually shot right here. And the clusters would have spread out, and that normally would have killed them. But you see, they're alive, and they survived. With the old Bramma, without question, they would have died. And remember, your ammo is precious now, because you only get 1 ammo per drop, and you only have 5 total shots. Where can't you use the new Bramma? And the worst place to use the Bramma right now is boss fights. Because you have so little ammo, as soon as you run out, you're kind of done. And you're gonna be dependent on your teammates unless you like spawn some ammo pizzas, right? Or you're using Protea. Now, Protea is actually the best way to use the Bramma right now if you want to still be able to spam this. Because what Protea can do is, on top of her being able to generate ammo with her dispenser, what she can do with her rewind ability, right, is she can spam, right? And let's say I shoot all of my ammo away, right? So I have 1 arrow left, and then I rewind. I get all of my ammo back. And then I can do that all over again because I also get the energy back to do so. So that is the best way to use the Bramma right now. And let me show you some alternatives. Now I have 3 alternatives for you, and they're in no particular order, but the first one I'd recommend, if you're looking for just the AoE potential that the Bramma had, is actually the Kuva Ogress. This actually has very similar damage, but it doesn't have any crit. But what it does have is lingering damage via Night Watch Napalm. So with our AoE test, we're going to spawn in our Elite Lancers at level 40 again. Right? Right? Everyone that was hit by the AoE died. Right? Absolutely no one survived that. Which is unlike the Bramma. And of course we have we can shoot pretty fast, and we have a magazine here. And the only real downside, other than the lack of crit on this thing, is that you actually need to reload. Now, if you want to use the Kuva Ogress against high armor, so let's bring out our heavy gunner again. right, you're going to actually need to aim for headshots. Now, it's kind of hard to do when this heavy gunner is just bouncing around here. But it should really only take a magazine to kill this heavy gunner here. As you can see, only 3 shots, and you can obviously simplify that process with mag. So if you're running a mag and you have your bubble, you're gonna hit guaranteed headshots and melt that high armor no problem. And the main reason to use the Bramma over the Kuva Ogress was that the Bramma is essentially a bottomless mag, which means you can get more shots off in a faster time period. So if you want something similar to that, then I have another recommendation for you, and that being the brand new primary Tomb Finger. Now the charge time is a little slow as they just nerfed it, so I have a fire rate mod instead of a multi-shot mod here. And arcane of choice would be Pax Charge, because Pax Charge, what it does is it gives you a battery instead of you having to manually reload. And while you're charging, you can actually regenerate the ammo. So this effectively makes this weapon bottomless. Right? And absolutely no one that got hit with the AoE survived. No one. Now, against high armor, so let's bring out our heavy gunner again. Right? Since we have access to 100 munitions, but you're not going to proc the things you want normally. Like I have corrosive on this weapon, but I haven't even been able to proc corrosive yet. But we do have 100 munitions, which sort of makes up for that. But you're not going to proc the things you normally want as far as status goes on this thing, which is the only downside to this. But for the most part, it does pretty good against high armor. Now, for my last recommendation, we have another new weapon, and that being the Stahalta. I think that's how you pronounce it. But this is a sort of a projectile heavy assault rifle, but it also has an alt fire that basically shoots out a nuclear bomb. And this thing is actually very powerful, more powerful than I'd say the Tomb Finger. Alright, so against high armor, for example, if I want to use the alt fire, right, that's pretty good damage. Now, I didn't proc 100 munitions, but if I did, that would have been a one-shot kill. Let's see if we can proc 100 munitions with this, just to show you. Yeah, it annihilates. Shoots the nuclear bombs, right? And of course, our AoE tests, so bring back the level 40 elite lancers here. No one who was in the AoE of that survived. No one. Absolutely no one. Now, this weapon even has pretty good damage in AoE against high armor targets. So we have 8 corrupted heavy gunners, right? And of course, we can shoot them directly. And now it procs radiation, but even if I don't hit them directly, it does pretty good damage. Of course, they're all shooting each other with the radiation procs that this thing gives off, but you're gonna be able to proc the things you want on this weapon more often than you would, say, the Tomb Finger. So yeah, the Bramma got hit really hard with a Nerf bat. So if you're looking for a Bramma alternative, these are the weapons I'd recommend. And if I had to pick a favorite out of all of them, to be honest, I really can't pick one, because they all do like one thing uniquely different. So the Tomb Finger has a bottomless mag. The Stala definitely has the most damage out of all 3 of them. And the Kuva Ogress is very nice against nullifiers, and it's a very good Saren weapon. And it doesn't have a charge time. So that was sort of good for different setups and different situations. So yeah, anyway guys, that's all for me. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.